I wanna be with you everywhere.
40 million copies, one album, and by the time they finished recording it, every single person in that studio had lost either a marriage or a relationship. This is not a success story. This is a survival story. And not everyone survived. In 1976, Fleetwood Mac walked into a recording studio with 3 collapsing relationships and came out with Rumours. Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks had just ended their long-term romantic relationship. Christine McVie and bassist John McVie had just filed for divorce. Mick Fleetwood's marriage was simultaneously disintegrating. 3 couples, 1 band, 1 studio, every single day for months. According to Carolyn Harris, who was Buckingham's girlfriend during this period and documented the sessions in her memoir Storms, the studio was an emotional war zone. People were crying between takes. Songs were being written about people sitting directly across the room. Stevie Nicks wrote Go Your Own Way as a raw response to a breakup with Buckingham. He recorded it, produced it, released it as a single. She reportedly begged him not to. He did it anyway. He took her pain, put a melody on it, and broadcast it to the world. That is not a creative disagreement. That is a declaration of war dressed as a pop song. The world loved it. Rumours sold 40 million copies. Won the Grammy for Album of the Year. The open wound became the art. The devastation became the product. And every person who bought that record had no idea they were listening to 5 people destroying each other in real time. What grew out of the romantic collapse was something slow and far more corrosive. Jealousy, betrayal, the kind that doesn't announce itself. It accumulates. Lindsey Buckingham built Fleetwood Mac sonically from the inside out. He produced the records, arranged the songs, made decisions in the studio that shaped every note the world heard. While he was buried in that technical architecture, Stevie Nicks was becoming an icon. Magazine covers, screaming audiences, a myth in a shawl spinning at the edge of the stage. Buckingham built the house. Nicks got to live in it publicly. According to those close to the band during this period, that imbalance fed a resentment in Buckingham that never fully healed, not across albums, not across decades, not ever. Then the betrayal came from a different direction entirely. It later emerged that Mick Fleetwood and Stevie Nicks had been romantically involved in the early 80s. Stevie herself admitted the affair caused her enormous guilt, because the woman Mick was with at the time was someone Stevie had personally introduced to him. She handed him a relationship and then stepped into the middle of it. In a group this small and this emotionally entangled, nothing stays contained. It poisons every room, every silence, every session. The band kept working because the machine demanded it. But nothing was ever clean again. And through all of it, the heartbreak, the jealousy, the betrayal, there was cocaine. According to Stevie Nicks in a widely cited interview with Billboard magazine, the cocaine running through the band during the Rumours and Tusk era was not recreational. It was structural. It was how they got through sessions that should have broken them. What it did to Nicks physically was catastrophic. She has spoken openly about the drug destroying tissue in her nasal septum so severely that doctors told her one more use risked a brain hemorrhage. Not a long-term warning, an immediate one. She checked into the Betty Ford Center in 1986. Then the medication prescribed to manage her withdrawal, Klonopin, became its own prison. She has described losing nearly an entire decade to that dependency. She required a second rehabilitation in 1993 specifically for the prescription drug. 2 addictions, 2 rehabs, both traceable directly to that same era. Mick Fleetwood's story ends somewhere that should be impossible. According to his own autobiography, Fleetwood spent money during the band's peak years at a rate that defied logic, and drugs consumed a massive portion of that spending. Despite Fleetwood Mac being one of the highest-grossing live acts on the planet, Mick Fleetwood declared personal bankruptcy in 1984. The cocaine didn't just cost him his health. It cost him everything the music had owned. Here is what most people don't know. The band that recorded Rumours was not the original Fleetwood Mac. The band was founded in London in 1967 by a British blues guitarist named Peter Green. B.B. King said publicly that Green was the only white guitarist who gave him cold chills. Not a compliment, a confession. B.B. King admitting this man unsettled him. In 1970, Green attended a party in Munich where he took LSD. Whatever happened that night destroyed him. He developed psychosis. he began compulsively giving away his money. He reportedly showed up at his accountant's office with a rifle, not to rob him, but to force him to stop sending royalty checks Green felt he didn't deserve. He was committed to psychiatric care and left the band he had founded. He spent years in and out of institutions before eventually recovering in his later life. Meanwhile, the band he created kept going without him and immediately ran into something that sounds like fiction. Their manager at the time, Clifford Davis, claimed he legally owned the name Fleetwood Mac. So he hired a group of completely different musicians, strangers with no connection to the real band, and sent them on a tour of the United States as Fleetwood Mac, a fake band, deceiving paying audiences every single night. The fake band even recorded an album. The real Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, and Christine McVie had to sue to reclaim their own name. They won, but the time, money, and damage at an already fragile moment was a cost that couldn't be undone. After Rumours became one of the best-selling albums in history, Lindsey Buckingham's response to the pressure of a follow-up was to ignore it entirely. Tusk, released in 1979, was a sprawling double album featuring lo-fi home recordings, experimental structures, and the USC Trojan marching band. Buckingham reportedly spent over $1 million recording it. Warner Brothers was reportedly furious. The album sold respectably, but nowhere near Rumours' numbers. The industry called it a commercial failure. Buckingham didn't care. He considered it an artistic statement. The rest of the band were less philosophical. The creative tension between his ambitions and the commercial weight of the Fleetwood Mac name hardened into something that never resolved. Tusk is now reassessed as ahead of its time. But in 1979, it felt like a man setting fire to his own momentum to prove a point. The final rupture came in 2018. Fleetwood Mac announced a tour. Buckingham was not on it. According to Buckingham, speaking to the Los Angeles Times, Stevie Nicks told the band she would not tour if he was part of it. He says he was given no conversation, no warning, no goodbye, simply removed from a band he had been part of for over 40 years. He sued. The settlement was reported at approximately $25 million. They replaced him with two guitarists, Mike Campbell and Neil Finn, because no single person could fill what he had been. Months later, Buckingham suffered a heart attack requiring open-heart surgery. The procedure damaged his vocal cords. The voice that sang the chain, Go Your Own Way, Big Love, permanently altered. After everything the band had taken from him, it took that too. Christine McVie died in November 2022. More than 30 members across 6 decades. A founder who lost his mind. A stolen name. 3 simultaneous romantic collapses inside one studio. Cocaine that bankrupted one member and nearly killed another. A guitarist fired and replaced by 2 men. A heart attack. A death. And through every crisis, Mick Fleetwood and John McVie never left. Every guitarist, vocalist, and keyboardist who passed through that band passed through the space those 2 men held. Fleetwood Mac was never stable. It was a chaos engine that occasionally produced something so undeniable that people forgot what it cost to make it. The music was real. The damage was real. And the people who made both paid in ways no record sale ever compensated.